Red Sox fans have long to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions. This is going to be a tough play back because it stays. He makes the play. It's over. And the Kings have finally won it all. 8-7-10.
Woo! Welcome to Triple Shot Sports. I am your host, Brandon Combs, joined as always by the Soup Boss. Soup, how are we doing today, buddy?
I'm thinking about change my middle name to Soup 7-Minute Mitch Boss.
I'm just glad you didn't start the show with your mic on mute this time.
Oh, well, when I'm doing other things like actually taking and looking at things in reality and not just pissing my pants because my team gets a win, Every once in a while we make mistakes. I
don't give a frick about them winning. It's all about Mitch Trubisky and him sucking. And look, you're making me send my son to Adrian Peterson's house because he already starts to show off with the Go Cardinals. I'm going to force Adrian Peterson to take care of this.
Hey, listen, he that's another thing. You want to tote child abuse on here, but you want me to somehow believe you because you're so mad at your amazing Super Bowl worthy quarterback. Like, look at those
fucking God. That's it. Look, you made me cuss already, and we're only 30 seconds into the show.
Good job. I'm gonna be good.
Oh my God.
I've learned to curb everything.
Everything
for sponsors. No, not you.
Not because of Soup Boss, but because of me. I put everything together for you guys today. Soup Boss said he was busy at work, and we all know he was just sitting at home.
He's taking a damn nap.
Probably watching the freaking Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure on loop. That's what he likes to do.
Hey, it's free. It's free with ads on YouTube right now. The first one. It's amazing.
But no, guys. Seriously, we got a great show lined up for you. We are going to talk baseball. We got a lot of news going on in baseball right now. The White Sox are pulling away in the American League Central. Baseball decided that they're going to go and do a bubble for the playoffs. So we got all that, and we are going to be joined by Mike Reeves and Benz of Twist. And before we bring them on, as always, we are going to start off with our Shop Talk segment. Shop Talk presented by BigDogPoker.net. BigDogPoker.net. Go ahead and sign up. And once you do your $50 deposit, use agent code GoCubsGo. That is agent code GoCubsGo when you sign up and deposit your $50. BigDogPoker.net. All right, guys. So we're going to start off with Shop Talk. Start getting the comments to us. We are bringing in now. We are going to bring in from Twist. We have Matt Benz. And last but not least, we are also joined by Mike Reeves. What's going on, gentlemen?
Holla, holla.
We here. Twist Nation.
What is going on, boys?
This show's about to go through the roof right now.
Oh, man.
You got about 30 shares right now.
Twist is just as pumped as Mitch Trubisky's teammates after that win on Sunday.
God.
They're
Hey, Benz and Reeves, back me up here. Tell me that you guys aren't believing the Mitch Trubisky hype, and tell me that you guys have some NFL sense to you and watched that game and said, wow, they did win, but man, they need a fucking quarterback.
So I'll go ahead and take this first.
MVP.
So I'm going to believe because he's on my dynasty roster.
Let's see.
And he's a third-string quarterback for me.
You're starting with me already.
He's going to have the year of his life.
You didn't even draft him, Matt. You picked him up as a free agent.
Let's talk to the smarter half of Twist then. Mike, tell me that you don't believe in Mitch Trubisky.
He's the worst quarterback in the NFL.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. At least somebody on this panel has a freaking brain in their head right now when it comes to the NFL.
Thank you.
He is horrible.
Man, I didn't know that over a 100 QBR and 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions was just the worst quarterback in the league.
You in an awful beard and mustache
Tyrod,
in a Bears helmet.
Tyrod Taylor.
And I would let you put that quarterback over Mitch Trubisky.
Maybe it's putting that shit on his helmet that's making him play even worse. You should be happy that he's got 100 QBR and 3 TDs.
I'll trade you for Cam Newton. You want to trade me for Cam Newton? Straight up trade. good with that?
Straight up trade. Sure, let's go in fantasy world. I'll trade you Mitch Trubisky for Cam Newton. Yay!
We're gonna start a Madden dynasty. That's what we're gonna do.
Our freaking fans are loving this. They're wondering what the hell is going on. We got the friggin' Brady Bunch on the screen, and we're talking fantasy trades in fantasy land.
Yeah.
Anyway, Richard, what's going on, buddy? So, guys, our shop talk segment is, for the fans. We let the fans interact with us. They give us what they want to hear, what they want to talk about. We also start talking about typically baseball, football, whatever's going on big that day. But with you guys here, I'd like to start talking about your power rankings. And I know, Benzie, you're doing the power rankings for RTF Network, soon to be All Access Sports Network. And you
like our gang. Is that going to be a gang sign?
Right, I like that.
ASN, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
All Access.
All Access
All
Sports
Access.
Network.
Thank you, Steven, for chiming in. Steven says Mitch the bitch.
Hit up ASN. I love it.
It's a cute nickname.
Yeah, that is. That's good. Clever.
But all right. So last time we had Reeves on, and we Benzie, you couldn't join us. You have a whole lot of stuff going on in life, so you were over there. But you had come out with your list that had the Colts at number 5, and me and Soup Boss were all over you.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing? What do you see in this team? Reeves had them, I think, at 9, maybe 10.
Sure.
They were in the top 10, but they weren't at 5, Benz. Jeez.
Love it.
Yeah, and I didn't see it. Soup Boss didn't see it. We don't know what you guys loved about this team. And after week 1,
Minshew Mania!
Yeah. The stash took him down.
My boy.
Like, what in the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, the Jaguars got their 1 win on the season, and the Colts look like they're probably going 0-16. So what's going on, guys?
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. This season, 2020 NFL season is.
Look, he's
crazy.
already trying to blame 2020. Oh, it's not my
No,
fault.
no.
2020 did it to me.
COVID.
Hold on. I'm not even going to blame COVID. I'm a survivor of COVID. I hope you guys know that. But just in of itself, I wanted to go out on a leap. I was talking to Combs before this. I wanted to pick a couple teams that I thought, hey, if they succeed, I'm a genius. If they flop, I'm getting roasted. So I'm getting roasted, boys.
Yeah.
The Colts flopped on me, and I'll take it like a champ.
Big
And a
pig on a stick.
It happened.
I'm a survivor of COVID too. I had a runny nose last week.
Oh, but did you test positive for COVID-19 and get paid 2 weeks vacation?
No.
It was the best show we've had to date when he had COVID and was home.
Yeah.
I believe. Hey, one of your somebody here says, "Did you guys go shopping on the clearance rack?"
Who's that guy? Who's Greg Bowman?
Who is that?
I have no clue. I hear he's from Green Bay though, so nobody listens to him anyway.
He's
Pretty funny
sipping
guy to me.
groundwater. That's what
Brady looked like a dumbass out there. Look, Brady did not look bad on some. Do you guys think Brady looked bad on Sunday night?
There's one terrible pass he had. He looked bad on.
The one in the pick 6 for sure.
Yeah, but bad throw.
I mean, you're going into New Orleans against a very good Saints defense.
Yep.
I thought they had the chance to pull off the upset, but I did have the Saints in the game just because it's in New Orleans. I mean, that's a tough place to go in and win. Fans are
those fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I definitely think I don't necessarily think he looked bad. I think he looked frustrated, very frustrated, just with the transition to a new team, building chemistry, and not having things go his way. Maybe there wasn't enough flags being thrown on the field in his direction. I don't know what was going on, but we'll let it slide. But
did you see the Karen meme with him yelling? Did you see the Karen meme with the hairdo
yeah.
and the earring? Oh my
Just
God.
Great.
I was dying.
Yep.
That's some funny shit. The day you guys went over his list, I was dead ass laughing on Chad's reaction. Yeah. When I told Chad who you had at number 5,
Yeah.
I
saw
thought
the
that
show, boys. I saw it.
Oh.
I loved it.
Oh my God.
I was glad my boy Minshew was just there. He's F this. We're just going to take care of this week 1.
Just
He was like, my brother in a mustache is pretty mad. I'm going to have to go out there and slice and dice the crap out of him. Man. Fucking
One incompletion.
Five!
Man.
One incompletion, yeah.
Yeah, 19 to 20. Pretty impressive.
Minshew beat him with a D3 roster. Just pummeled him.
Pretty sure I saw Minshew on one of the movies I was watching late night last night.
Well, hey,
What was
listen.
that?
Wait, this is a family show, 70s porn stuff. Like, calm it down there,
Hey,
Reeves. Relax.
It was a Disney cartoon. That's where your head went, Snoop Boss. Come
so
on.
you go to the
And above
hentai
the
section.
table,
Okay.
Bob.
The live action Lion King. Jeez.
Holy cow.
The hentai section of Pornhub is what you were looking at. Don't lie.
Wow, and there are 0 people now. I think Big Dog Poker just pulled their support out.
Oh no.
They're forcing
Hear
to
this
cut
stuff
off
we
the
talk
front.
about in their chat rooms.
Uh,
All right, so it's a new week, and you got a chance to redeem yourself here. So hopefully, you guys don't have the Colts in the top 10 this time, right?
I don't.
Neither do I.
Thank
Oh,
God. I've had a long day. I didn't feel
Now,
like losing my mind, guys. Thank
Either
you.
of you still have the 49ers in your top 10?
I do.
I do
Oh,
not. 49ers are not in my top 10.
All right. Again, we have one
Here.
smart half of Twist, and then we've got Benz. So, all right, Ben. So let's go with your 10 through 6. Who's your 10 through 6, Benzie?
10 through 6. At number 10, I have the San Francisco 49ers. They were at number 3 in my last rankings. They're going up against the poopy Jets this week. I do expect them to bounce back. The reason why I still have them at 10 is because they didn't have Debo, they didn't have Ayuk, and Kittle was banged up.
So you were
I
making
left
up
them on the
excuses.
cusp.
Okay.
What's going to happen when 412-year-old Frank Gore beats them?
Oh, would that be elite? The infinite one, Frank
Yeah.
Gore just comes out of. I wouldn't doubt it.
Quick
At number
question,
9,
Matt. Those players that you just named off,
Yes,
are they back this week?
depends. I think Brandon might come.
Nope.
Depends is what Greg wears. I asked you a question.
Brilliant.
Debo's not. Kittle
Debo's
probably
not.
won't be.
What about Brandon Ayuk?
I don't believe so.
I think
You put him in your top 10. You're supposed to answer these questions.
I got him.
If
on
you're
my top
confident
10.
in your ranking,
Come on, you're the NFL rankings
All right.
guy here.
yeah.
Are you the same guy
I
who
got him
put,
at 10.
Are
because
you
I
the same
believe
guy who
with
put
all those
Kaepernick
guys
in
back
Madden?
this week they can win.
Are you the same guy that gave Kaepernick an 80 in Madden?
Oh, you think I didn't?
Oh, geez.
And that amazing afro.
That too here in a minute.
Oh my
But go
God.
ahead. All right. So at number 9, who you got at 9, Benzie?
I got the Bills. The Bills were not in my previous power rankings. I have
Oh
them
my God.
the Jets 27-17. That is my number 9.
That's very low. Who's your number 8?
Number 8, I have the Patriots. They were also not in my top 10. After seeing Cam rush 15 times, most since 2015.
Have you seen their next 5 weeks?
Is this
ready
just
for that number.
clickbait? Is this clickbait?
It's got to be.
These
Have you
aren't
seen
real.
the next 5
These
weeks?
aren't real.
Wait until I say number 7. You guys are gonna love it. At
Oh
number
my
7, the Arizona Cardinals, baby.
Oh,
Yes.
all right.
Well, at least you have a good
You realize
defense
this
and
is
an
the
actual offense.
You
Yeah.
realize this is the NFL power rankings and not the overreaction rankings?
Nope, not at all.
Wait, you have an actual problem,
ahead.
Combs, with the Cardinals being the top 10?
Yeah,
Yes.
let's hear it.
You
Oh.
you have been on such a GD Hopkins anti-push that's the only
First of
reason
all,
that you don't think
I
it's
was-
good.
I was.
They beat the
I was-
defending NFC champions, and they have one of the best defenses in the game, probably better than
yeah.
San Francisco's.
Who did I not have in my top 10? And even though they were the defending NFC champions, the San Francisco 49ers, and that's who they went out and beat. I said the 49ers were going to have a down year. I don't think they were as good as they were last year, and they went out there and they proved it. And
Zero
Arizona,
respect.
and Arizona's not that good. I'm still not a believer in Kyler Murray. I'm just not.
You'll be on here by like week 8 being like, that Kyler Murray guy, man, that Hopkins guy. I wish someone had told me about him. Man, those guys just light it up. We need to talk about that. And then I'm going to take the sheet you send me. I'm going to say F off, and I'm walking off the set during that
Yeah.
segment. You can do it.
You got minus points and muted, Combs.
All right. Well, when they finish 3-13, you come talk to me.
3-13. You put the Chargers at 8-8 for crying out loud. You don't get to talk.
You want number 6?
Yes, who's number 6?
All right, number 6, I got the Steelers. They were number 7 last week. They're moving up a spot, number 6. Love how Big Ben looked coming back.
Look good.
Love the chemistry with Juju. Love the defense. 6 is the perfect spot for them.
All right, Reeves. Let's get to some logic. Who do you got in your 10 through 6?
Coming in at number 10.
Oh, here we fucking go.
Oh, yeah.
With the late game on Monday Night Football, the Tennessee Titans defeat the Denver Broncos. I got the Titans in at number 10.
If the Denver Broncos knew how to actually kick a field goal and then, use the timeout, they would have lost that game.
But they didn't. And they're my number 10.
Touche.
They still have a good defense. They added Jadeveon Clowney. We actually saw some life from the hell's it, Corey Davis or, number 3 pick back 3 years ago. They're 1-0. They were in the AFC Championship. So they're a strong team who actually won a game, unlike the NFC Championship Super Bowl team, San Francisco 49ers, who lost. And again, this is just a weekly power rankings.
It is a weekly. That is a beautiful comment, Mike. Keep going.
This is my week and my ranking. Yeah, I don't need you co-signing, Matt. I got this. Coming in at number 9, the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I told you guys when I was on, or not Soup Boss, he was ladling soup that episode or something.
Hey,
but
you got to feed the people, baby.
I said it then that I didn't have him in my top 10 because I needed to see Big Ben. And you know what? I saw him. And he threw for 300+ yards, 3 touchdowns, and looked like his own self. So I slid him into the top 10 at my number 9. Coming in at number 8.
The Giants, let's just be clear.
I don't care.
Okay.
They are again 1-0, and they went 8-8 last year with no quarterback. They have one of the best top 3 defenses in the league, and Big Ben showed that he can play. So they're in the top 10, and they won.
You let them slide right into the top.
Number 8, an impressive win. Maybe it was an offensive pass interference call that helped them get it, but they did beat the Cowboys. I have the Los Angeles Rams at number 8. Look like the Rams of 2 years ago to me. Malcolm Brown was just a beast, running all over, catching everything. Robert Woods, basically, their number 1 guy. Cooper Kupp, good things out of their rookies as well. So they are my number 8.
It was more impressive than I expected. Like I got to give it to them. Like straight up, the defense still does what they do. The offense, I expected them to fall flat, and they did enough. And they did enough to what we've been saying. Hey, they won. But I think they won in a more convincing fashion. Ramsey may have, he deserves an Oscar for his performance there at the end of the game. But nonetheless, they won.
They won, and it was impressive. And the Cowboys are supposed to be, one of the top teams this year, and they pulled it off. And it was a fun game to watch. So, yeah, as of this week, they are my number 8. The next one pains me to say, it pains me to watch, and it pains me to see their colors. The Green Bay Packers. At least they are in my 10 through 6. I know Benzie has them in his top 5, and that disgusts me, Matthew. It just disgusts me. Do you kiss your fiance with that mouth?
I do.
But Rodgers, again, I'm going to slide them into the top 10. They are at number 7. I think, Minnesota Vikings defense got exposed for what they are, is young and a lot of rookies playing. So was that Aaron Rodgers just being the Hall of Fame self that he is? Maybe.
Yes.
But a lot of it was the fact that he's going and picking against,
that's what Hall of Fame quarterbacks do.
And you're right, but we'll see later down. And again, there
same argument that you just said you didn't care about Ben Roethlisberger.
Shut up, Greg. Go, Pack, go. Shut up. I can see your comments here too. So it was an impressive victory. Their defense, I thought, was one of the, it was a top 10 defense last year, and they sure gave up a lot of points to us trying to come back. So that is scary for a Packers defense that allows that even in a game that they pretty much had hands down. But we were able to get, a lot of late garbage time points. Wrapping up my 10 through 6 is number 6. And this is the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, I think a lot of people just expected him to run, and they came out and they said, you know what, we're going to apply the run, but we're going to show that he's got an arm and he's going to pass and he's going to feed Stephon Diggs, and he's going to have an elite year. For fantasy football purposes, he was the 7th overall quarterback last year, and he was
the number 2 quarterback 2 years in a row from week 10 on. In the league. So
yeah, don't sleep on him. I mean, he's a good player. That Buffalo defense is elite. They're going to take that division over the Patriots this year. Yep. Cam Newton or no Cam Newton, the way that they have him running, he'll be healthy for 3 weeks. Josh Allen is
he's going down after this Sunday. He's not running against that defense. I'm scared for his life.
So I don't know about you, Soup Boss, but I know Reeves is 10 through 6. I don't really have much to say about his list at all. I think he's pretty much spot on. Benzie, man, you have the Niners who lost down at number 10.
Yep.
And I have to argue with you that out of all the teams that lost this week, your Minnesota Vikings should be at number 10 if you're going to have a team that lost at number 10. The Minnesota Vikings lost at home, but they lost to Aaron Rodgers, but they still put up 34 points. They still went out there and still did their thing offensively. Granted, in the first half, they didn't look very good offensively, but they woke up and they started doing their thing. I think that if I'm going to have any team with a loss in my top 10, I think it's going to be Minnesota instead of San Francisco. And then New England, man. I think New England's just such a overreaction. They beat Miami at home. It's still Miami. Miami's atrocious. They have to go the next 5 weeks to have them ahead. You have them in your power rankings this week means you think they're going to have a good game this week. They're playing the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And they're in Kansas City. Then they come back home for Oakland. Then they have to go back out west, and then they come back. Like they have 5 games against the West coming up, and they travel back and forth coast to coast to coast. Like it is going to be a brutal 5 weeks for the Patriots. So I don't understand the Patriots at number 8.
It's for this week, Combs. They've already said it. At least they won.
But if you're going to do a power ranking, you're looking at them going into this next week, correct?
No. Power rankings are not with expectation.
How they played in week 1 plus how you think they're going to go into
No. That's not how power rankings work, Combs.
After week 1.
Yeah,
they got to carry your ass constantly.
Has nothing to do with week 2. It's after.
Well, then I put Trubisky in the Bears at 8.
That's a prediction. That's a prediction. You can put predictions up.
Give me 7-minute Mitch at 8.
7-minute Mitch.
Parlay right now, trying to figure out who's gonna run
I feel like that guy from Something About Mary. Not 6-minute at Mitch. 7-minute Mitch. All right, guys. All right, Benzie, who you got from 5 to 1? Let's go.
5-1 at number 5. I do have the
Green Bay.
Yep, I do have them at number 5. That is just so explosive, and to see how they just dismantled our defense, and time of possession was a complete joke the whole game. So I have them at number 5. At number 4, I have the Seahawks. So just to see what Russell did, what's Green Bay saying now? He's saying, little known Packer fans pay Kirk Cousins' salary just to keep him in. That's a beautiful thing, Greg.
Joshua Seavey, where you at, buddy?
Greg, go take a bath with some sea salt. And
Greg, if they wanted you on the show, they would have invited you. All right?
Yeah.
Just remember that. All right. So
Hoffy coming at me.
Seahawks at number 4, boys.
All right. Seahawks at 4.
It's a good
Ravens
pick.
at 3. Saints at 2. And then the Chiefs at 1.
All right. I don't have any.
I would flip your 4 and 3 myself, but that's just me. I think Seattle is once again, everyone talked about week 1 and including on Sports Soup. Outside of me posting about it, no one talks about Russell Wilson ever. Never talks about it. And it doesn't matter what he does, how he does it, with how little of offensive line, how little of offensive weapons. He goes out and slaughters teams constantly, puts up godly numbers. The guy's got 0 MVP votes in his whole career. 0. That's disgusting. If he was on an East Coast team doing what he's doing, he would be on the cover of every freaking Wheaties box, and he doesn't get the attention. So Seahawks are just they're going to just be ridiculous this year.
I don't disagree. I don't know if I flop them with the Ravens just because I think if I swap them with anybody, I put the Ravens at 2 and then Seattle at 3 and the Saints at 4. If I'm going to nitpick it, but I don't have any problem with that.
Hey, Reeves is giving us a nice little tour of his home.
Reeves,
this is the living room.
My computer just talked to me and said I have 8 minutes till death.
Oh, okay. Are you going into Greg's room now?
Yeah, they got bunk beds they share. So.
Yeah, there's a lot more room for activities.
Amen.
There it is. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go. Plugged in.
Give us your top 5.
All right. So, again, Combs, you're probably not going to like it, but I don't care. This is a weekly power rankings, and my number 5 is the Cardinals. They are sliding into the number 5. That's a big win. I don't care,
That's
huge.
That
San Francisco has players out. It's all about their defense. And Kyler Murray's coming in, with a lot of pressure this year. That second year for a number 1 overall pick, he's projected as a top 5 quarterback, and he absolutely showed it, especially with his feet. If he didn't have a couple kneels, he would have had 100 yards rushing and a touchdown.
Yep.
That trade to get DeAndre Hopkins,
Yep.
he targeted 16 times, 18 times, caught 16 ball. I mean, that's
man.
That is exactly what you do when you bring in a player like that.
Houston fans are sitting there
involved in the game plan, and
Houston fans were sitting there on Sunday, just go, man, I wish we had a wide receiver like that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
What do you think, Combs? What do you think, Combs? Combs trashing Hopkins all preseason, by the way, guys.
I did not.
You're a joke. You're a joke with it, and I'm going to run you over with it. I saw those stats. I was like, I can't wait.
He's mad because I did not have Hopkins in my top 10.
No, they looked good. They're my number 5. My number 4 is the Saints. I thought that was an impressive win. Again, the Bucs, we haven't really seen anything of them. We heard a lot. They brought in Brady. They brought in Gronk. Gronk's the one that looked old. Brady looked fine. Gronk looked horrible.
They did a great job of exposing Brady's desire to throw to him. If you watch that game, the amount of times Gronk, out of all the players, they double-teamed Gronk so many times, and Brady looked at him first, and he was just like, shit. Like,
watch out for Scotty Williams.
Williams
going to put up some numbers in Tampa Bay.
You talk about a quarterback being exposed, and they did this a little bit last year, but Drew Brees, they just bring in Hill when they're going to throw deep.
Yeah.
He's literally got no arm left. It's like they have to, we're going deep. Well, Taysom, come on in. We're either going to, give you a sweep to the right or you're going to throw it deep. So that scares me for the Saints and for the future of that team this year.
The fact that they did that in such a big game when it was still close in the beginning, it was 3rd and 6, and they brought him in, and it was the whole focus was a deep post to Thomas with Hill throwing to him, and he scrambled for the first down. I was watching it, and I was like, that wasn't a designed scramble. Nope. They literally had him out there to throw it deep to Thomas. What is that? That's exactly what I was thinking. Good point, Reeves, because I was just like, that is not a good sign.
No,
Jameis Winston's over there.
This is going to be his last year for sure.
That's why Tampa's going to still win that division.
And they could, but they still pulled off a win against a supposed good team. I did have them in my top 5 last week, so they stood there. But the Seahawks climbed into number 3. Russell Wilson, they said it in the offseason, we're going to give them more reins to throw the ball. Every time, they're down and they're like, all right, man, we need your help, Russell. And he comes out and he plays like Russell Wilson and he plays amazing. So this year, they're just like, we're going to give you, Santa's reins and let you play with the reindeer. And he went off, but we've seen it before. And so it's impressive. And to me, I think they're going to be, at that 3 spot for a while. My number 2 and my number 1 are the exact same as they were at the beginning of the season. And last week, it's the Ravens at number 2, the Chiefs at number 1, the 2 best quarterbacks in the league coming off, great seasons last year. Pat Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP, Lamar Jackson, regular season MVP, came out firing away. Nothing changed. Both teams won very well and very easy. And I can't wait for week 3. I believe week 3 when they play each other, because that's going to be a fun game.
Yep.
Well, other than Arizona at number 5, which you already know how I feel about them. You did exactly what I said I would have done with Benzies, and you put New Orleans at 4 and Seattle at 3, and then 2 and 1 with the Ravens and Chiefs. So I don't really have a problem with that either. The other team that I was talking about, Benzie, and I totally forgot about him in space about him, I don't know how, is if I'm going to go with a team that lost to replace San Francisco, is Tampa Bay. Going into New Orleans and playing them tough and doing that, I think they look a lot better than San Francisco does right now too. But yeah, not too bad, guys. At least there's no Colts. There's.
I swear, I was waiting because I had such a crappy day. And it was so nuts. I was just waiting to find out that Combs convinced one of you guys to put Colts at number 10. I would have lost my shit, and he would have had to do the show with one of you for the next 2 hours. I would have gone bananas.
Right, so that's all right. So let's go through my top 10. At number 10, I have the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh,
I'm just joking.
I mean, that's one against my 600 Mitch Trubisky, so I deserve it. So
Might as well just put the Jags in at number 10. There you go.
All right, so here's a question for you guys. Who you guys do fantasy?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
All right. So who?
speaking of fantasy, real quick, if everyone notices that I'm looking down at my screen, I have a draft because I have a league starts at week 2, and I totally forgot. So
Now that's the Sleeper app. It looks like.
it is Sleeper. I freaking love Sleeper. It's in
Oh, yeah.
80% of my league. So Sleeper, want to sponsor us? Let's go. Let's do it.
Greg says triple shot went dumpster diving for NFL Insight. Buck says KC is number 1 till 2025.
You know what's funny about
Buck
that?
Kaiser says Colts are a solid number 11.
What's funny about
Oh my
Buck
God.
saying that KC is number 1 is that when I was on Mike and Mike earlier today, he
Yep.
actually had Baltimore at number 1.
Well,
That was all
Michael
clickbait.
Kaiser also had Miles Sanders as the 4th best running back in the NFL, and he also
Detroit
had,
Lions winning the division.
and he had King Henry at number 7. Detroit Lions winning the division, which I'm winning 2 bets with 2 other shows on the network right now, Infinity Sports and Strikeout Beer, who said that Detroit Lions are going to be better than the Bears and the Vikings, and so they're both going to have to wear shirts with my face on them during their show. So I can't wait for that. I mean, because if you lost to the Bears with Mitch Trubisky playing like that, you have 0 hope for the rest of the season.
I just hope that you come with. I hope it's a face that's like, or like
All right,
blowfish or something crazy.
So fantasy-wise,
Your finger in your nose.
2, and I already threw out one name out there who I think is a huge pickup if you can get him off the waiver wire, which is Scotty Williams. Tom Brady loves him some Scotty Williams, and he showed it in week 1 against the Saints. Who are some other waiver wires, as I went 0-3 in my fantasy leagues this year, so I need to do a couple of pickups. Oh man, it was a look. I lost by 4 points in 2 of the 3 leagues, and in both of those leagues, I had Connor James. So it hurt me last night when Connor James went down with a sprained ankle. I was yelling at my TV, "Just play, you pussy! If you played hockey, you'd play through it," and it didn't work. But who are some of you guys' waiver wire pickups?
Reeves, go ahead, bud.
I think at running back right away, the first 2 gone are Mac Brown and Naheem Hines. They're going to be the ones that everybody's fighting to get. To me, I would take Naheem first, just because he's going to have an every week role. Now that Marlon Mack went down, Jonathan Taylor's obviously that 1A, but Naheem showed it just last week that he's going to play and he's going to have a role even when there was 3 healthy running backs. So now with Marlon gone, Naheem's going to have an every week role, whereas, Brown with the Rams, I really think they're just going to do the true who has the hot hand. If Cam Akers, who took the first handoff in the game because they spent a 2nd round pick on him and they really want him to thrive, and I think he'll do well. If he would have started off hot, he would have had that big game and Brown wouldn't have. Henderson's there as well, so they really have that 3-headed monster. And they're going to play the hot hand, whereas Hines will have a role every week. So those for the running backs. Maddie?
I'll stay on running backs just for a second here, and I'll go Benny Snell Jr. I believe he's only owned in like 14% of leagues right now, so I would pick that up. I think Connor will be on a snap count majority, and when you got a running back like Benny Snell who goes and gets 19 carries for over 100 yards, I'm in. Just to seeing his footwork last night and to seeing how he runs hard and has great vision, we'll go with him in running backs. Another name I want to throw out there is going to be Dallas Goedert. I mean, you would think that Ertz is getting the looks, which he kind of was, but you got Goddard that's just always finding a nose for the end zone, and just he's trustworthy for Wentz. So
I've had him on every single dynasty league that I'm in since the year he was drafted. Like he's the future for that tight end, and with the contract situation with Ertz, they did that on purpose. Like that touchdown pass that he had, that was a Ertz play if I've ever seen one. Cut to the right of the linebacker, go to the left of the safety, over the shoulder, which he hasn't normally done. And that was just them just saying, we can stick this guy in. It was their way of looking at Ertz and being like, okay, fine, go ahead. Be a dink about your contract. Look at what this guy can do. Same thing you can do.
And
my number one at receiver is kind of a sleeper, not by how he played in week 1, but I don't think the name pops at a lot of people, and that's Russell Gage, the 3rd wide receiver for the Falcons. When Ridley went down last year, he came in and was super explosive. I mean, he played balls to the wall. He was he was the waiver pickup everybody wanted. And then this year he goes typically undrafted because he's a third receiver, and you're not really going to do that unless they're a first or second round rookie and you're taking a flyer on them. But when he comes out and gets 9 receptions for 118 yards or something like that, when all 3 receivers go for 8 or 9 receptions and over 100 yards, that's just Matt Ryan, and that's the Atlanta Falcons offense. Matt Ryan throws for 350 yards on average every game, and that defense is trash. So they're going to be playing behind. Gurley's going to be hurt probably by week 5, and they're not going to have a running game. He'll be somebody who's going to help you out week in, week out.
Yeah, and then on the quarterback flip side of it, let's go with Gardner. Why not? Why not pick up Gardner?
Because he must took him in the first round of every draft.
9.9% of leagues only own this guy, and all they do is throw the biscuit. I mean,
you know who owns them 100%? Super.
First round,
drafts
all the time, baby.
In the first round of every draft.
First round, every single time,
Really?
with the exception of the one that we are in. That's the only one where that dink knew. If you're listening, you are a dink. He knew that I wanted him, and he did it. But outside of that, I have him in every single other league, including 2 keeper leagues where I already had him, and he was one of my 2 keepers.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing with Gardner is, I mean, he is playing for his job. He realizes if he can squeeze out some W's, they aren't getting Trevor, they aren't getting Fields, and he's going to be able to maintain, and just to see a guy like that go out there and just
that's what they made it very clear with the concept of what they're doing on that offense. The focus with cutting Fournette and the trades that they made was not, they said it. The team said it. Gardner said it. Other players have said it. We are not tanking. We know you guys think that. And it's funny because last year we said it with Miami and they actually went out and won games, but I actually think they tanked for Tua and they just happened to get him. I think that's what they were doing, but the players had more character. The team themselves are saying we're not doing it. I think they realize, listen, we've got some huge ass egos in this locker room. We've gotten rid of some before. We'll get rid of some more. Let's let this be Gardner's team and let the guys that believe in him actually see what they can do. Now, they're going to still get smacked around in a couple games. That defense is still going to have some challenges, but I'm telling you, I'm confident in my pick that they're going 8-8.
Here's the thing about professional sports and the NFL in particular. Why would you tank if you're the GM? Unless you have some handwritten contract with the owner, you're out of job. If you go, 1-15, you're fired. The head coach is fired. They're not going to be there to get Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
So it's they're playing for their job. So I think your brain automatically goes as a fan that, they're getting rid of Fournette. No, they're getting rid of this. Well, no, they had a toxic culture for a while. So players didn't want to play there. So they, honestly, if I were a player on the outside looking in, they accommodate the players. They don't make them sit there and live in the filth and the toxicity. It's like, look, we get it, but we're not giving you away for nothing. We're going to get assets and we're going to build this team back up to a few years ago when we were in the AFC Championship.
In the NBA, tanking is a thing. It's not a thing in the NFL. Those guys every week are fighting for their jobs every week because they don't have guaranteed contracts. They can be replaced at any time. And unless your name is Tom Brady, Drew Brees, or a top 10 name at your position, your job's not safe. And so even those guys who go out there, for the Jacksonville Jaguars after they trade everybody, or the Miami Dolphins, those guys are playing. And even if they're not playing hard for the Dolphins, they're playing hard for themselves to get seen by other teams and picked up in trade or in free agencies. So
and they're playing hard because they want to. They're playing hard because they want to be seen. And if they get going and you see some excitement and they start to gel together, well, that's even better. That's a better feeling. Those are the type of players that you want to look for. And I think I predicted it and I said that's what they were doing. And I was confident in it. And I'm going to stand confident in that is that they trimmed the fat. They're still going to have games where we're going to go, it would have been nice to have Fournette in that situation or having our guy at the end rushing in that situation. They're going to have some games they're going to look like
I think
the mid-tier team, but I think they're better than they're not 0-16 team. They're not.
And now more than ever, the running back position is probably the easiest one to substitute and find gold.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the draft or through free agency or through a guy who was on your practice squad that you just didn't know was as good as he is, and you bring him up. The running back position solely rests on how good not solely, but primarily rests on how good your offensive line is, how good your game planning is. You can find good running backs. They're a dime a dozen right now, and that's why they get traded and let go of so easily.
Yeah, this isn't the day of one featured back where it's Adrian Peterson for the Vikings and nobody else. You don't have to be a Niners team where, hey, we're going to feed, 3 different guys 15 times, but you do need depth.
Yeah.
The Vikings even having Delvin Cook and signing him to this massive contract. We spent a 3rd-round pick on Alexander Madison.
Yep.
You got Greg's Packers who have Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams, and they spent a 2nd-round pick on A.J. Dillon.
Yep.
The injuries that we saw this last week and that we see every year in the NFL is nobody has an exception to getting hurt. So you need depth if you're going to win a championship, bottom line.
Speaking of A.J. Dillon, have you guys seen his friggin' tree trunks for legs? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Those are insane.
I hear a lot of people talking too about the upcoming draft and tanking for Trevor. But I gotta tell you, I mean, I look at guys like Kyle Trask and Brock Purdy and Ketlin Mond, and I wonder if they aren't a better pick than Trevor Lawrence.
No, they're not.
No.
You guys are big believers in Trevor Lawrence, son.
Yeah,
100%. The name you left off is Justin Fields. If anybody goes ahead of Trevor Lawrence, it's Justin Fields. And I still don't think you can't get. I mean, he's 6'6". He's built like a brick shithouse.
Reeves and I were watching him this past weekend, and it's just like.
And that translates in college, but that doesn't always translate in the NFL.
But he's been that way in every league,
I see a lot of Ryan Leaf, college-wise, in Trevor Lawrence.
I don't know, man. I mean,
Trevor.
The thing about it is, with him playing with that team, Clemson, he is getting the Rolls Royce of college football teams to play on. I get that, and he's going to end up going to, let's say, the worst team in the NFL, but still,
Browns.
The tangibles, can you imagine? But just the tangibles, the unteachables that he has. I mean, size, definition, just the marketing.
Long, beautiful blonde hair.
Luscious
guy. I mean, just
dude. So can you imagine that? Soup, you just brought up something that blew my mind because I thought about it.
I put it on Sports Soup, man.
Browns, if they have the number 1 pick, do they really go quarterback?
Yes. If you get the number 1 pick now with year 3 of Baker Mayfield, they're going to do it again. And that's the only way, though, that I feel that Trevor Lawrence does not succeed in the NFL, because we have seen it now over and over. I do not care if you're the greatest quarterback to come out of college. There is something wrong with the personnel in the system in Cleveland. Trevor Lawrence won't accept that.
What about other teams like I know you got Burrows in Cincinnati. What if Cincinnati ends up number 1? Or what if
they'll trade it out? They'll trade that out.
They take Senio Pelelli, the left tackle.
Mitch Trubisky start. I hope we lose our next 15 and we get the number 1 pick and we can go out there and get a fucking quarterback, because we sure as hell don't got one now.
You got Big Dick Nick, man. You got Big Dick Nick. Don't worry about it. Chill out.
Yeah.
You got Super Bowl quarterback.
If quarterback does go to Cleveland this year, I could see Justin Fields going to Cleveland. That would be crazy, just to keep the Ohio State at home. Sell tickets. Hopefully sell tickets next year.
I hope so.
All right, guys. Well, it was fun having you on, as always. We'll do this again next Tuesday with Reeves. I know Benzie will be on his honeymoon. I can't believe he found somebody to marry him, but he will be on his honeymoon.
Must have been one big-ass Colts fan that you married, Benz.
The best part is she hates football. That's the best part.
That's the day for the boys.
The match made in heaven. I'll get you the number to my divorce attorney in about 2 years.
Ben, here's the secret. Here's a secret. It's only cute till you get married.
Yeah.
It's all right.
All right, guys. So, Benzie, why don't you tell us where we can find you? Yeah. Let's talk about Benzie's Bit and all the stuff that you got going on.
Sure. So I do Benzie's Bit usually live on either Tuesdays or Wednesdays, but make sure that, simple as this, follow me on Twitter at TwistBenz. You're going to be able to get all the Twist shows, all the Benzie's Bit shows, all the rest of the umbrella. I'll let Mike talk about his shows. Even there's a show called GBG if you just want to fall asleep.
Nobody wants to watch it.
Great thing to throw on. It's great for
Joshua LeBrecq. You should do that.
So
he always has some shit hanging in the back of his background. Like I can never, like, I turn it on and all I see is this big like turd behind him. So I just have to shut it off because I'm like, it reminds me of like having to take my dog on a walk.
Understandable.
All right, Reevesy, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, so my spinoff show is Mike on the Mic. A few months back, we decided to branch off. Obviously, our main show is Twist, the weekend sports talk. But we thought it'd be kind of fun to, have our own shows and get inside the mind of one of the hosts from Twist. And they're all completely different. Benz is going to give you more of a breakdown, whether it's fantasy, NFL. I'm going to take you through some headlines. We're going to play some little different games. And Greg just goes on rants about politics and eating brats and, just all these different things. So really you just get a different, you get to zoom in on the host that you like during Twist and get inside their head a little bit. So you're going to want to check out our YouTube where you can find every episode of Twist, all of our spinoff shows. That's just Twist Sports Talk, our website, twistsportstalk.com. I go live from RTF and Twist Facebook on Mondays now after the Sunday shows. And then I'm sure we're going to have new time slots for all the different shows on the All Access Sports Network.
Hey, real quick there, Reeves. I love those headphones. I know a lot of college age girls that go to the gym and make pretend they're working out, wear those all the time. So where'd you steal them from? The lost and found at the YMCA, buddy? Or
I actually bought them on Facebook Marketplace for $30. I got the Beat Side Gray.
And it was probably some chick that had words written on her sweatpants on her ass that she makes pretend she goes and works out, huh?
Probably. Now she gets to stare at me wearing them at the gym.
Not to keep piling on you, Reeves, but
keep it coming. Let's go.
I listen to your guys' show all the time, and my girlfriend says to me the other day, she's like, I really like listening to that show, but every time he goes Twist, I just want to punch him in the mouth.
This one's for you.
You punch us in the mouth when we say it like that. Just make sure you share it. That's all that matters.
Yeah. I'll sell myself real cheap if you're helping the show. That's fine.
Every time she punches you, you just like twist, and just get all the marketing in the world right there, baby.
Be like the worst episode of Family Guy ever.
Well, I'm glad she's a fan. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next week. All right.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
Later. All right, man. It's always fun having those guys on. I told. I can't believe
she's so embarrassed. We're gonna go to break, and when you come back with your headphones knocked off your head,
I see you, Michelle. I didn't leave. Twist.
All right, guys. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to get into some baseball and some exciting news surrounding the show and the RTF Sports Network, which is becoming the All Access Sports Network. And we will be back here in about 30 seconds. Stay with us. What's going on, Triple Shot Sports family? This is Brandon Combs, host of the best podcast on the planet. That's the Triple Shot Sports Podcast. Be sure to join myself and Soup Boss Chad Lounder live for 2 hours. Yes, I said 2 hours every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Central on the RTF Sports Network Facebook page and YouTube. And if you miss any part of the show, you can hear us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the drive home at 5 p.m. Eastern on rtfsportsnetwork.com. All right.
You give me so much crap about muting my mic. Every time we go on a break, mute your damn mic. Come on, man. It's so simple. Mute your mic. We all heard your
Oh, my phone going off.
We can hear you pouring your drink in the ice. We can hear your phone going off. Mute your mic during the breaks.
But then I'll be like you and I'll forget to unmute him on my way back on.
That won't hurt anyone's feelings. Trust me. I'll just sit there and I'll just say something like, "Go Cardinals" and twist.
All right. So we talked about this a little bit earlier. RTF Sports Network, which we are associated with, is going through a rebrand, and that rebrand is going to be a what we call the All Access Sports Network. We feel like it is a good change. We feel like it is something that is going to help us moving forward. Not only is it a more searchable name, but it's also a more marketable name, something that we can do a whole lot more with. So we have a whole lot of exciting things coming. There are some shows that are going to be joining the network that I'm really excited about. And so there are a lot of good things coming. So you guys stay tuned. We have a lot of stuff going. Here's the logo that we came up with. So that is going to be the logo for the new All Access Sports Network.
And don't worry, we'll be able to change some colors, so we're not going to be ripping off the LA Rams every single night.
Or Michigan.
Well, I mean, you could bring up that school, but no one even knows who that is. That's from my buddy Alex, big Ohio State guy.
I got so my girlfriend's daughter, one of her best friends is her dad is a cop here in Chicago, and he's also a huge Michigan fan. So he'll appreciate that because I'm sure he's watching the show right now too.
It's all right. It's all in love. I really have nothing against Michigan. It's just I got some good buddies that are Ohio State fans. So
he was so upset last weekend because he's like, I'm supposed to in about 12 hours be on my way to Michigan to watch the game, but instead, no. So I sent him a thing and I said, hey, man, I mean, you could always, come over to the gold and blue and watch the Golden Domers, man. And he's like, I wouldn't watch that team if it cost me my life. So,
man.
But yeah, so a lot of news came out today surrounding MLB, and there's a lot of things going on in MLB. So I definitely want to get to that. Especially, let's start off with the whole announcement that they had this morning. Pretty exciting news, kind of, sort of, for baseball fans is that they're going to be playing the playoffs in a bubble. Well, I think it is a smart move.
It is.
But I think that they should play the entire thing in a bubble. They're doing the wild card round where each team, like they're doing now, the higher seed, the home team is going to host all 3 games. It's the best.
Yeah, no, that's stupid. The whole thing needs to be in a bubble. If you're going to put the playoffs in a bubble so you don't have any issues or any delays, do the whole thing. The second the regular season's done, all the playoffs are in a bubble system.
And then I started thinking, and now my next concern comes from one of the bubble sites is in California. And California right now is on fire. And
they got fire tornadoes. You see that?
I watched a double header yesterday where these guys were playing in air where they say the air quality, if it's 200 or greater, that it's unhealthy and very bad for you. And their air quality was at like 280 during the game.
Yeah,
and
we had a game postponed today. Yep.
So I think they had it postponed because of the way the players were so outspoken about it after the game. They should have postponed that doubleheader yesterday.
Hey, I told you my biggest concern is as this season gets near the end, it was going to be the weather, but I thought it was going to be rain. I didn't realize it was going to be fire falling from the freaking sky and creating tornadoes.
Yeah, it is. It's insane right now over there. It's sad to see when you see the photos and you see the sky lit up and it's all burnt orange, and it makes for a pretty backdrop, but it's not what what you want to hear, what you want to see, all stemming from, I guess, from a gender reveal, I guess, was what started it all.
Yeah, I hope if it's a boy, they name him Lucifer. That's all I'm just hoping for.
Oh man. All right, so the bubble is going to be between the new stadium there in Texas. Was that Reliant Stadium? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. They don't even call it down here on the radio. They still just say the ballpark in Arlington, which is not what it is. So I think it's Reliant Stadium. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a beautiful ballpark. And then I guess the other one is between San Diego and LA because they're so close. I think that they're making both of those sites, if I remember correctly. But I could
remember my prediction on that, man. I predicted it. You've got now. I was saying there should have been 3. You've got San Diego, the Dodgers, and the Angels. You could have had, you got 3 ballparks all within an hour of each other. You could have had a great system with that. It's called the Globe Life Park in Arlington, by the way.
Globe Life, okay.
Globe Life, which everyone will just call the ballpark in Arlington. It's just the way
the
it is.
divisional series will be at Globe Life Field in Arlington. The ALDS will be at Petco Park in San Diego. And Dodger Stadium, LA. So I was right. They're also going to be playing at Minute Maid Park in Houston for the NLDS. But it's going to give us that same atmosphere that I loved with basketball and hockey, was that you're going to get baseball all day long.
Yep.
You're going to get playoff baseball all day long. And for me, like I'm telling you right now, this is better than Pornhub. For real, this is the thing for me that is like, wow, I can't. Oh my god! Like, yes, I am super excited.
So you compared something being better than Pornhub for something you can watch all day long. I'm stressing because my day was busy at work, and you're just like, yo, listen, what do you do all day long? Is that what you do at home?
I work from home.
Yeah. Hopefully your boss isn't watching this. Yeah, just stream Pornhub.
Hey, if my boss is watching me, screw you. I'm gonna watch more baseball than I'm gonna do work. I care less.
Oh, geez. Your girl's watching this too, for crying out loud.
I had a day today, man. I was not happy by the end of the day with work, so I care less. But at any rate,
I know we're talking baseball, but 4 minutes to go. Celtics losing their 12-point lead they had. They're only up by 4 with 4 minutes to go. So
yeah, close
game.
Yeah, it is. I turned it off. I actually have Cubs in Cleveland on right now.
Of course you do.
Big surprise, right?
God.
All right. So the playoff bubble, you think it's good or bad? Yeah, you apparently think it's good, correct?
No, I think it's good because if they had done it the whole way, I don't understand this. We're going to not use the bubble until we get to the divisional series. Like, what's the point of that? So now what happens if you have some type of breakout of some sort? You're going to delay the playoffs. Get to the playoffs and put it all in a bubble. You've watched it with the NHL. You've said that you've taken a lot of account into what they're doing, what the NBA is doing. You've seen the success in it. This is just typical Manfred. Like, I like this idea. I think this is smart. We should definitely do it. A third of the way in. Just do it. Do it all. And there's plenty. And like I said, you've got those 3 ballparks right there. Arlington's got their brand new ballpark. And then, in which, by the way, like, if you want to talk about bubble, I live in Oklahoma City, go down there. It's like Jerry's World and the 2 baseball parks. And then there's nothing. Like, they literally have that thing smacked. If there's dead space somehow in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, they found it. There's like the 6 Flags, and then that's it. There's nothing there. It's dead. And then Houston's ballpark, man, that used to be my former employee. I got to go there twice a year for events. Absolutely love that. But do it for the whole thing. You can do it. Don't tell me you can't do this. They had how many? 16 on each side? No, they had 12 on each side in hockey, playing in just 2 domes. That was it, in 2. And they had 24 teams being able to play, like you said, starting in the morning and then ending in the evening, and they still are having great series in those 2. And you're telling me that you can't get the whole playoff series within, 5, 6 stadiums? You can. It's right. God, it's stupid. We're going to have I hate trying to give Manfred any credit because he does stuff like this. Like, good job, you idiot. Like, you can't just say congrats. You actually made a good decision. And one team is going to have some freaking breakout. And what are you going to do when you have one team have a breakout? We're going to sit here after 3-game series and make all the rest of baseball sit and wait? Or are you going to have the rest of baseball go except for the one team that's supposed to face off potentially against, like, I don't get it.
So that's exactly where I was going with it. I think it's a good idea, bad execution.
Yeah.
Because it to me, it's a great idea. To me, I actually don't mind carrying this idea into regular seasons that aren't 2020 into a full season where, if you have a team like a Cleveland or a Colorado that ends up in the World Series and we're playing in late October and November, we're not playing in 30-degree weather with possibilities of snow flurries.
I don't like that. They you know that when teams that aren't as good, but when they get to, like, when Colorado played the Red Sox, I'll
Yep.
give them one thing is that their stadium was rocking. They were pumped. You don't take that away from those fans, because a lot of times when they're not doing good, the fans aren't there. But that doesn't mean that the fandom, they don't want to spend their money on watching a losing team, but they're more than excited and ready to go if they win. You can't take that away from them.
But you get
But
teams
with that said, if you don't put this in a bubble now, that's what we're going to have. We're going to have freaking baseball and Christmas. At that point, it's too much. Even if, trust me, I live in Oklahoma City. Just because it gets December doesn't mean it's always balmy 60, 70 down here. We get that air comes right off the Rocky Mountains and it goes Oklahoma City and it gets into Dallas. And we have some mornings where it's, 20, 30 degrees and it takes a little while to get warmed up. And then in the evening, it starts to cool down. Like, I just don't think it's guaranteed if you have it playing during Christmas. Just stick it in the bubble. Like you said, execute the whole thing.
Now, the other thing is that they're not doing like an actual bubble like the NBA and NHL did. They're traveling to the hotel and then traveling to the park, whereas the NBA and the NHL closed off in quarantine sections and made these guys quarantine for 2 weeks before starting practices and all that stuff. So again, good idea, bad execution, because you're still exposed to all the things you're exposed to anyway. So at that point, what difference does it make whether you're playing, I get you're traveling for, games 3, 4, and 5, but I just, to me, I just don't, I like the idea. I just think that they're not, I think they're doing it just to appease the.
Well, I think I think it's easier for you to contain if you already have everything set up. You make sure everything is contained within what you can do. The buses, the hotels, like you literally contain this in an aspect. And I get you don't get a quote unquote full bubble like what the NBA and the NHL have, but you have the ability because you get all your teams around that you can put more of your forces to that and make sure it's contained.
Right.
In baseball, as you and I have talked about, it's a different beast. The players aren't, even though the NHL is the most unegotistical, I think baseball is next, where you've got a guy like Mike Trout who should be the poster boy for the league. They don't do that, and then he's just like, yeah, that's fine, I don't care. Like, it's a different breed with baseball, but you're still. With that said, we sat there and watched the St. Louis Cardinals still go, screw it, who cares? Let's go in the Steamboat Casino in the Mississippi and friggin' hang around with hookers all night or something like that. And we're just like, we don't care, we're not going to get it. So that is still there. So the security, having everything more centrally focalized, will allow the MLB to take all of their security measures, beef it into one area or a couple smaller areas instead of multiple. And then you can say, I'm sorry, you can't leave this hotel, and try to find every way to do it. Is it guaranteed? No. Look, we still had a guy on the NBA on the Rockets who still snuck in a friend and ruined his marriage because he got caught with doing it. Like, it still is going to happen. Jason
Hayward just caught a ball from about maybe 15 feet in front of the warning track and threw a missile home to get Francisco Lindor at the plate.
Good for him to. That was a guy that, remember, he went through and changed the team, and he had like a slowing down of his career. And there were people that were like, he's done, he's dead, and he's sticking to it, he's sticking with it. He continues to show flares. Phenomenal. He's great. Yeah. And that's the value of him. And now he's not going out there stroking 310 and hitting bombs.
He's hitting well this year. And he's back to what we thought we were getting when we signed him from St. Louis. And he's back to he's got that swagger about him again, which I really love. He's adjusted his batting stance, and he's got that swagger about him again, like I said, and he's just. I think Jay Hay is back to that 280, 20 home run a year guy that he was when he was coming up, and everybody was so excited about him in Atlanta. But anyway, I mean, that's neither here nor there. I think that with the bubble, back to that, I think that you definitely do contain. Obviously, you've got a smaller array of where people are going and what they're doing. I do worry about the guys. St. Louis Cardinals make the playoffs. You got to worry about them going to the club.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
the stuff that worries me, because stuff's not shut down in certain locations, and you still got this. Granted, they say by November 1st, vaccines and all this stuff, and I'm not one of those big believers that this thing is as bad as people want to say that it is, but it is what it is.
But it's still there.
It's obviously out there. It's people are still dying from it, so it's very real. But it's one of those things where I think it's a great idea. I just think it's bad execution.
Right.
Let's see here. Brandon Jr., better than Pornhub. I can't breathe.
Oh, yeah. No kidding. Your girl's on here. Your kids are on here. Your boss may be on here.
Oh, man.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Anyway, so the other thing we got going on is the American League Central, man. It's so fun to watch. The White Sox have opened up a 2-game lead on Minnesota. They are 4 games up now on Cleveland, and they just continue to stay hot, and they are extremely good.
Yeah, they're extremely good, but you said before we got on the show that they're running away with the division. You're sorely mistaken. They were Minnesota at one point was 3.5 games back, and before yesterday they were a game back. So I don't think I think this is literally going to come down to the last game or two between these two. But that trade that Cleveland pulled off there, getting rid of their pitcher there, like that, I think that hurt them. It hurt them, and they're still going to probably make the playoffs, obviously with the record, but they were right up there competing, and now they're not. They're out of. I think they're out technically, mathematically. They're still in, but I think they're out. And this is a 2-man race for the top of the division. So
yeah, and right now
they're down by 2.
Are playing each other. They're in a 4-game series. The Twins are up or are tied 1-1 in the top of the third with the White Sox right now, and that's just a huge series. If the White Sox continue to play as hot as they're playing, and if they can take 3 out of 4 from the Twins. I'm not so sure with, whatever it'll be 7 or 8 games left. I'm not so sure that doesn't make that division over.
Yeah, I mean, if they go through and they sweep this, then yeah, they've got it. I mean, but
3 or 4. I mean, they won last night. They beat the Twins last night.
Yeah.
They win
If they split, it's a 1-game behind situation once again. I mean, it's the Chicago White Sox have been what you said. They're a year ahead of everything. Good on them. They're playing some great baseball. But I mean, the Minnesota Twins, I said it and I called it. They're not a pushover team, and they're the team that no one was talking about. At least people were saying Chicago White Sox were a team that were a year away. No one said that about Minnesota, but I've been watching these guys develop over the last 2 years, and I mean they're no pushovers. They just don't have that explosive guy like the Tatis that you've got out in San Diego that you can go, hey, they're only a game and a half back. Like when they were 3.5 games back in San Diego or LA, people were like, they got a chance. Minnesota being 2 games back, just because they don't have that explosive guy, I could see people going, well, Chicago's going to pull away with it. Well, no, they've been number 1 or 2 for a while.
Tonight, they're 3 games up with 2 to play in the series, and if they pull off one more of that, and they finish the series 3 games up with 7 to play or 8 to play, I can't remember what it is. They're 31-16, so it's
holy cow. Two free throws, and they only hit 1, and so Boston and Miami are going into overtime.
Oh, Jesus.
Good way. Good. It's going to be I told you it's going to be a 7-game series. They're going these two. You think Toronto and Boston were exhausted at the end of their series? These 2 teams are going to be spent by game 6. It's going to be the ugliest basketball you've ever seen. And with that said, even with Miami rested, though, they're going to get exhausted because Boston's going to push them. They're the best defense in the league. The LA Lakers are just going to be sitting there. They've got the Clippers and the Nuggets going 7. They're going to beat them, and then you're going to probably have Miami and Boston going 7. And the Lakers are just going to have these teams that are just spent, exhausted. And I think the Lakers will have it. I took over baseball talk, I know, but it's crazy to me.
It's Jimmy Butler, too. I wish the Bulls could get a guy like that. I don't even want to talk about the Bulls. But at any rate, I think that the AL Central is very interesting. I think that the White Sox, again, if they go out and they win this series 3-1, with whatever will be remaining for games. I'm looking at it right now. It looks like 7 games will be remaining after that. That's a 3-game cushion in 7 games, unless the White Sox just actually absolutely crap the bed. It is going to be extremely tough for them to come back from.
Yeah. Well, a lot of big ifs. If Minnesota wins tonight, they're only down by 1, and then you've got 2 more series. I think there's a lot of ifs in this scenario. And, Chicago got the first if by winning game 1. But if Minnesota wins the next 3 games and they sweep out, then they're up by 1. And I don't think until we get at least 3 games through this 4-game series, we're going to really kind of know what's going on. So to me, it's just more of an if thing. I'm not driven on feeling like I'm confident in either one. In fact, I would not be shocked if they walk out with Minnesota still down by 1 game because they split the series 2-2, to be honest.
All right, Supas, you ready right now? All right, so I want you to do this for me, Supas.
No, here we go.
Go like this. Go like that for me.
I don't got any dandruff on my back, but sure, I'll do that.
Just pat yourself right on the back, because the San Diego Padres are coming for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah, they are, baby.
They are. 1.5 game division. San Diego went out there last night and beat LA, beat Clayton Kershaw, and they are playing some great baseball, and they're really look like they can come back to this division. If they go out and win again tonight and then sweep them tomorrow, they're a half game up. And look, I don't think there's any looking back for the San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
So we talked about this preseason. We both picked the Padres. We both thought that we were going to yell at the other person because we both thought that we were the only ones picking the Padres and how good they were, and how we were wrong about the Dodgers though. We did say the Dodgers were going to have a down year and they're going to miss their pitching. They have not had a down year.
I said they were going to have a down year, but I still put them at my power ranking number 3 when we did that. And then I said, based on the playoffs, if I knew the playoffs were the way they are with the 2 team and then the 2 extra, I would have actually put them in the playoffs. But yeah, no, I did not. I fully expected them to just fall flat on their face for the first 20 games of the season. Yeah. When we saw Kershaw right at the beginning of the season get hurt, I was like, yep, here it comes. And Mookie's going to start slow. And all that did happen. Kershaw got hurt. Mookie was slow for 2 games, and Kershaw was only out for 1. And then they were like, screw it. Yeah.
2 games.
Yeah, that was it. So it was just like, oh, okay, well, there's that.
Yeah.
So, but it's a situation like, listen, the Dodgers, they keep getting there. They keep doing it. They're an amazing team. They keep finding ways to win, even when their top players aren't hitting.
Yeah.
But the difference to me is that San Diego found a way to be exciting. They struck gold in the Tatis Jr. And then they said, listen, we're not the Dodgers. We're not the ones that are always here. We've been waiting to get back to this since the days of Tony Gwynn. We are doing this now. And they went and traded assets for players. And listen, even though they were their best assets that they traded off, these weren't top 100 assets in the whole MLB. So to them, they were trading mid-tier, minor league players to go after it now. Because what? If next year they're bad, they're going to call up these mid-range minor league guys and do the no different than they're doing if all of a sudden they start to suck. They went for it. They're exciting. They're having a ton of fun. And I'm so sick and tired. And I know we're going to bring this up. I'm so sick and tired of people complaining when teams have fun and celebrate. Unless they are looking at another player and flipping them the bird. It is athletics.
So if you guys listening who have not heard about this, the Los Angeles Dodgers channeled their inner Texas Rangers last night, and they were complaining about a big home run that was hit off of Clayton Kershaw. I believe it was the 7th inning, maybe the 8th inning. It was a big home run.
That was a bomb.
Gave the Padres the lead, and he pimped it, and they celebrated it, and they were loud about it. And afterwards, your boy there, Dave Roberts, had a ton of shit to say about how they were disrespectful to Clayton Kershaw and what he did to what they did to Clayton Kershaw and how they celebrated that home run, and that it's just disrespectful and it shouldn't be done.
I'm just
it's just a load of crap, man. Look, I love baseball. and I consider myself one of those guys who really enjoys the game. I love a 3.5 to 4 hour pitcher duel. I just do. I don't mind the 40 pitching changes. I don't mind the strategy of the game. I love every single moment of the game. I think it's an art form. I think it's beautiful, and I think it's pure.
It's like me with NFL. I was actually excited about the 13-3 Pats Rams, not because I'm a Pats fan. The defensive moves, the chess playing, it was so freaking intense that whole game.
But stop with the you're disrespecting the game if you're celebrating a home run. He was excited. They did something. They're coming after you. They're taking over the vaunted Los Angeles Dodgers, who everybody said nobody is going to be able to beat this year because of how good they looked.
Yep.
And now they're coming back and they're looking just as good, and they're looking like they are going to catch you and they're going to beat you. If they're in your head that bad, you've already lost the series and you've already lost the division.
And that's the difference, is that we've got that young, exciting team and they're pumped and everything, and the Dodgers are out here throwing big hissy fits. He didn't. It was a monster bomb, and I think what it is it was the frustration. You had a 1-0 game. You had your ace on the mound. He's going deeper into the game, and that was a lefty on lefty. The second that ball touched his bat, it was a beast of a bomb. And in San Diego to do it that way, it's insane. But my goodness gracious, like, he didn't look at Kershaw. He didn't Batista flap, the bat flip look at Kershaw. He didn't throw him the bird. They were having fun. They were celebrating. I've played sports my whole life. I'm one of the players that you prove it on the field. So I was never a big celebrator. But that didn't mean of my own stuff. But that didn't mean that when my teammates did great and it was a big play and we were pushing for playoff seeds or beating some of the better teams and proving ourselves, and they got excited because something big happened, I didn't celebrate with them. But they're not celebrate. What are you supposed to do in baseball? This is why baseball is having problems still. You're screaming at a kid yelling at a 3-0 pitch. You got his own manager throwing him under the damn bus, which he's lucky this team is playing their hearts out for themselves, because I don't know how he has that frigging clubhouse. You've got another one just saying it's a disgrace to the game, even though his own franchise destroyed a team and was swinging at 3-0 pitches and hit grand slams in the 8th inning 2 years before that. And now you can't celebrate. You hit a huge bomb off of one of the game's best pitchers to tie it 1-1 in the 7th inning, and the people in the dugout aren't allowed to celebrate. Shut the hell up.
It's a hypersensitive world that we live in.
It's not just tired of it.
It's the entire world right now. It's what it is. If you're offended by it, no matter what it is, you say you're offended by it, and then all of a sudden we're supposed to think it's offensive. Mike Fink chimes in to the two teams we're just talking about. The White Sox look like a team with a bright future. Then he realized they traded away Tatis for James.
Oh man, imagine if Tatis had been on this team where they are. Then at that point, if he had been starting the season like he is now with what they've got, it wouldn't be about they're a year away. It would be about it's their time. Who's going to stop them? It's crazy.
You'd have Tatis, and then you'd have and that's why they traded him, because they have Tim Anderson, and so they didn't think they had a spot for him. But if you move Tatis over to second base, or even Anderson over to second base, and have those two as your middle infielder, you have Moncada at third, you have Abreu at first. Oh my God, man, this team would be absolutely sick. And the fact that you traded him away for James freaking Shields, man. Oh my God, does that have to hurt? It's got to hurt.
Yeah, James Shields is one of those guys that will be able to ever walk around and just go, do you know how much people like everyone, he performed at different times when he needed to, and especially for Kansas City, but he was that guy that would just he just knew how to just perform just enough and to show just enough that multiple times, not just that trade, other times with contracts and trades, and he just learned how to cling and stick around long enough. But it's going to be something that, thank goodness that the White Sox though are playing good. Because if the White Sox right now were the 4th or 5th team in that division, and they were watching Tatis out there helping that team come back and potentially win that division, the White Sox fans would be, not that I ever saw them in the stands half the time, but they would be even less. What you'd see right now they have in the stands would be what you'd have next year if fans come back. It would be terrible. They'd be so depressed.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and we are going to play Way or No Way for the first time in a
long
while.
time.
And then after that, we will get to Shop Talk, and we will talk some basketball and talk some hockey. Boy, them Dallas Stars came out of freaking nowhere.
Man,
Holy
amazing.
cow.
Good
But,
for them.
So we'll be right back here in about 30 seconds with Way or No Way. What's going on, Triple Shot Sports family? This is Brandon Combs, host of the best podcast on the planet. That's the Triple Shot Sports Podcast. Be sure to join myself and Soup Boss Chad Lounder live for 2 hours. Yes, I said 2 hours every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Central on the RTF Sports Network Facebook page and YouTube. And if you miss any part of the show, you can hear us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on your drive home at 5 p.m. Eastern on rtfsportsnetwork.com. All right, guys. So we are back, and as we teased, it is now that time that we look forward to. It's been a while since we played it. What's going on?
I'm having a heart attack. This is what happens with my Boston teams, man. They just can't. They're down by 1 with 35 seconds to go. I'm losing my mind.
On that note, game on! Game on! He's wheeling, he's feeling. He shoots, he scores!
All right. So for those of you who haven't been with us before and are just tuning in now with all the different shares and all the different likes that we are getting, I just want to go ahead. We take a series of statements, and then we will either answer way or no way.
No way. Yes
way.
And so, there are a lot of different things that have gone on since the last time that we played this game. And there are some things that I want to get into here. And the first one that I have here, we were just talking about. The Padres will win the West, and the Dodgers will lose in the wild card round.
Well, I'm going to say no way because you put 2 stipulations in that. So, but I have to clarify. I'm saying no way. This isn't a halfway and all that crap. It's a no way because I'm sticking by our prediction. Like we've got to roll with this now at this point, right? The Padres are going to win the West. We called it before they started playing. You and I were on somehow the same friggin' brain path that no one else was on. We saw this coming. The Padres are going to win the West. The Dodgers are not going to lose in the first round. The Dodgers have gone to 3 straight World Series. They came out and even did more than what you and I both predicted because they've been starting slow every year. They've done it differently. They've had role players pick up. So the Padres are going to win that division, but the Dodgers will get out of the first round. So no way.
I am going to say way.
That's why you built that question that way, because you wanted to you want credit for like a double prediction here.
I'm going to say way. Look, the Padres are going to come back and win this division. And then I think what's going to happen is that this series right here is going to send the Dodgers kind of spinning a little bit here. The Dodgers are about to hit that spot that every team hits, even the great teams hit those spots in that season where they, lose 9 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 or something like that. I think the Dodgers are about to hit that. They're about to go into the playoffs kind of spinning a little bit. And then they are either going to run into a St. Louis Cardinals or a Cincinnati Reds or maybe even a Philadelphia Phillies team or even a Miami Marlins team that is young and hungry. And in a 3-game series, man, if you go out there, and Clayton Kershaw has always shown that in the playoffs, he is not the same Clayton Kershaw.
The World Series, he's not the same Clayton Kershaw.
Look, he is not the
Series. He's not
the same Clayton Kershaw in the postseason. And if you go in there and you take game 1 off of whoever is going to be their number 1 starter, I'm not sure if it's Clayton Kershaw. I'm not sure if it is great. His name's going to escape. What the hell is it? Walker Buehler. If it's Walker Buehler or if it's Clayton Kershaw, if you go out and you steal game 1, they have no choice but to beat you. And the Dodgers have proven year after year after year that when their backs are against the wall, they can't come back. And so I do not like them in a short series. And against a team like the Cardinals or even the Reds or especially the Phillies and even the Marlins, because they are that sneaky team here in this whole, depiction that we have of our
which was
playoff.
so funny because I made the statement as a joke, like you're gonna have some team like the Marlins just do something weird this year, even though I didn't predict it. And what happened? Even though they got the first COVID thing, they're winning games.
But if you get a guy like Arena that comes up here and wins game one, anything can happen. And I really don't like the Dodgers in a short series. So I'm going away. I think the Padres win this division and the Dodgers lose out in the wild card round. And it is all bets are off in the National League at that point. All right. So moving on. We talked about this a little bit with Benz and with Reeves when they were on, and it's something that I noticed even after we talked on Sunday and went over our week one recap and all that other stuff. And the Patriots, they looked all right against Miami. I mean, their offense was clicking. They looked like they have a decent defense regardless of the pieces that they're missing. They looked okay, but man, so the Patriots' next 5 weeks will determine their season and Cam Newton's future.
No way. Just because of the fact that I've already predicted in our predictions and everything about the fact of their schedule going 9-7, and I said the beginning of their schedule was brutal. The other aspect of it is, well, let's see. Predicting Cam's future is whether or not he can stay alive. He's still running hard. He's still running in the linebackers. He did it against Miami. Seattle's defense is not going to let him do that. They're not going to be fooled by any of that crap. So we better see a different game plan with which, according to McDaniels and Belichick, that they have so many different formations and sets with him. So let's see if they're smart and don't pull that stuff. But with that said, I already said like they're going to get smoked by a couple of these teams early. And I had them losing the Seahawks. I had them losing to the Chiefs. I have them losing the 49ers. But their back end of their schedule is a lot more formidable. So if anything, it's going to be one of those things that if they have a chance to kind of rise above and gain some momentum at the back end of the season where Belichick's going to push them to, I think they can. So I'm going to go no way because I already predicted a bad front of the season and the Celtics are going to freaking lose this game.
I'm going way. And here's why I'm going away. Because the next 5 weeks, you have at Seattle, which they're going to get destroyed in Seattle. I mean, I don't see this being a close game at all. Then you have them coming back home for the Raiders. I'm very, very, very interested to see how Cam Newton, demeanor-wise, is on that sidelines during the Seahawks game. Because if they're getting blown out, like I believe that they will, how does he react to that? Because when he was in Carolina, man, it was never pretty whenever they were losing. Now, then you come home and you play the Raiders. Now, that's a game where it's going to be a tight one. Like, that's not a guaranteed win for the Patriots. I think they're about the same caliber team, so it's kind of a toss-up. So that's going to be a close one. Then you go back at Kansas City. Now, at Kansas City, I think, again, you're going to get smoked again. And again, it's Cam Newton. So if by some chance the Raiders do pull it off in New England, and now you've lost to Seattle, you've lost to the Raiders, you lost to the Chiefs, and you're spinning, man. And Cam Newton being Cam Newton and not being able to contain, his demeanor and his frustrations like he always does. If you go out there and you lay an egg against the Broncos or even you lose to the 49ers, at that point you're 2-4. If you beat the Broncos and you lose to the 49ers, you're 2-4, and then you have to head to Buffalo. And that's where I think the wheels come off. I think they lose to Buffalo, and then I think Cam Newton is out as the starting quarterback.
Yeah, well, you've been
at 2-5, 2-6. They're going to want to see what they have in Stidham.
Yeah, well, Stidham wasn't even in the game. He was hurt this past week. So there's the other aspect is it might not be Stidham. It may be Hoyer at that aspect. But no, I'm not too worried about it. I think that they put everything in what they put in him. And I don't think Bill Belichick's an idiot. I think he's going to do everything the best he can to put wins, but he's not a fool. He's not an idiot with these things. And it's going to be we're on to Cincinnati because he's going to go and face the teams like the Seahawks and the Chiefs, and they're going to get dominated. He's not going to care. He's going to be right on to the next game. And if there's any coach that's proven over time after time again, even when Brady went down one year, that when you lose as the New England Patriots with Bill Belichick, he is the second he's walking off that field, he's already planning the next game. And you know damn well that after those losses to Seattle and Kansas City and the 49ers, which I still predict, I don't even care what the way the 49ers look, he's going to immediately have that team focus, driven. He's going to be hard on them. But the thing with Cam Newton, I don't know if it's just because he's prepping knowing that he was going to be hard on him. You kind of see the difference in Tampa Bay where the coach Arians was ripping on Tom Brady. Bill's kind of done the difference with Cam, and I wonder if it's because he knew, like, hey, like to your point, I wonder if he sees his personality and goes, I'm going to pump him up so that he's energized and he's happy and everything, so that when I yell at him, it's not such a defeat. Because imagine if Bill Belichick was like, yeah, he got this start, but well, he did all right and everything like that, and then he got smoked. Well, then yeah, Cam Newton's going to be depressed, but Cam is feeling good. I'm still not sold on the whole aspect of it. I still think the team is going to be better than what you predict. But at the end of the day, I don't think it spells misery on the front end because the back end will be better. But I still don't think Cam Newton's going to be the quarterback for the Patriots next season anyway. So I think this is a one-year deal anyways, no matter what. So
we've got some fans chiming in on Way or No Way, and they've come up with some questions of their own. So I'm going to forego a couple of ours, and we're going to ask a couple of theirs.
Freaking Celtics lost it, by the way, clanging a three-pointer.
Brandon Jr. says, sorry, Soup, 117, 114.
Yeah, I predicted the Heat to win.
So the Cowboys game was the best game this week, Way or No Way?
You know, I got to say, it was by and far the most entertaining game. I really believe that I sat there in that game and watched it front to back, and I expected the Cowboys to kind of, kind of have the Rams stick around. Then they were just going to kind of get away with it. You have a couple Zeke big plays, and that was going to be it. There's a lot of the other games that were quote unquote close really weren't. It was just some catch up like Minnesota and stuff like that.
Bears and Lions back and forth.
And back and forth. The Bears and Lions though was a back and forth one. So,
Cardinals, Niners.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a good game. I think it got more attention just because it was the Sunday night game, SoFi game. I was bored with Titans Broncos, man. I really was. I was bored. The only thing exciting about that is me telling everyone in Sports Soup, you take the damn points for the Broncos, and then they're going to wish they had those 3 points. And lo and behold, they wish they had those 3 points. But I'll tell you a game that I got the back end of that I actually think was a really, really good game, which was the Raiders and the Panthers. That was a good game because you had some seasoned veterans out there that were doing some big stuff. And at the same time, you had a lot of these younger players. You got to see Teddy Bridgewater. You got to see Carr connecting with Ruggs. So you saw players of all ages, of the older generation, mid, and these rookies. And they all were just having a good time. There were good stops by both defenses. There were big plays by both offenses. So though it didn't get a lot of attention, I probably would actually give Raiders. So I'm going to say no way and say Raiders, Panthers.
Okay. And here's another. This one's a good one, man. Way or no way? Tampa Bay wins more than one championship this year. Rays, Bucks, Lightning.
By the way, I absolutely love the fact that we've got people chiming in here and giving us way or no way. I love this. This is great. Yeah.
This is a really good one too, man. I saw this one. I was like, whoa, that's a thinker, man. I'll start. I'm gonna say way. I'm going to say the Lightning are going to win the championship, even though Dallas, man, look, we keep saying Dallas is going to lose, and they find a way to win. So I'm not convinced 100% that the Lightning are going to win, but I would say that the Lightning are going to win the Stanley Cup. And I would say out of the Rays and Bucks, man, I keep counting out the Rays, but I would say the Bucks are probably more likely than the Rays. But the Rays could do it too, man. They could pull a Boston here and win 3. They're exciting in Tampa.
There's all great things going on with those 3 teams, right? And there's the huge thought process with Tom Brady coming in. The Tampa Bay Rays are just showing that even with the 10 now. With that said, they've slowed down, but so is all the rest of the AL East. I don't know if you saw all 5 teams for the last 10 or 5-5. Like it's a joke in that division. And the Lightning are to Sully's credit, are the freaking the number 1 team in the NHL. The power rankings, but I still said that I'd have the Braves going. I got to stick by my prediction because the Braves and the Twins are still in there and in the hunt and are still either first or hunting first. I got to stick behind my Seattle pick, and if there's a team right now that's so weird that could find a way to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning right now, I think it's the damn Dallas Stars. Like I just don't know how you would count them out with what they've done. So they could. So, but all 3 of these teams at the same time. So you could. I'm going to go no way, and I'm actually going to say 0 for 3. I'm going to be the jerk here and say 0 for 3 with all of them. But I will not be shocked if we see 2 or 3 out of that because it can. All 3 of those teams are just so good. But I'm going to go 0 and 3.
Yeah, this one you could have pulled a Wayne and been okay with that. Kind of way, kind of no way.
No,
It's-
I'm going to stand on a prediction. I'll stand on a prediction. 0-3. All good teams, all getting to the playoffs. All are going to make impact. Well, obviously the Lightning.
So I have the Lightning and the Bucks. I have the Bucks winning the Super Bowl, so I have to stick by my pick.
Right.
And I think the Lightning are gonna finally dispatch Dallas, that pesky Dallas team that has taken out so many of these other ones that we would have been like, man, this would be great to see this matchup. And Dallas is like, nope.
Nope. Yep. Nope.
Nope. Man,
But
I can't wait to see this high-powered Vegas team play this high-powered Lightning team. Nope. So, yeah, no, absolutely. So let's get to the last one here. And this one I put in just for me. Way or no way, Mitch Trubisky is hot garbage. This is a way. If you say no way, you don't watch football. We can never talk football on this show again because you don't know what you're talking about if you don't say way here. He is hot garbage.
Do we talk baseball on the show? Talk a
Yes.
lot, don't we? What your stupid ass prediction of the Angels going to the World Series is enough that I could turn around and say we don't get to talk baseball anymore. So don't even give me that crap, okay? Hot garbage is a term for the worst of the worst. When you have a QBR of over 100, throw for 3 touchdowns and bring your team back. And by the way, you come up with that, oh, what an amazing catch on that last touchdown. Have you say, did you watch it? I've watched that thing now 4 or 5 times. That was an absolutely stellar touchdown throw by Mitchell Trubisky. Back shoulder, and not just the throw. I don't know if you noticed, but he shifted his shoulders and that pumped the safety just a little bit. Back shoulder, over the top, beautiful throw.
That
Big Nick is still going to take over for him. So I listen. I'm not this big Mitch Trubisky fan. I just love giving you crap. But to Mitch's credit, at least for 1 week, he gets to revel in the glory of him doing something good, at least enough to go with Supas's prediction, which he's going to win 3 really, really close games.
What's he going to do next week if we don't have Allen Robinson to throw to?
They'll still have Allen Robinson. Don't worry about it.
He told the team today, he said, if you don't give me my contract, I want to be traded. He might not be playing on Sunday.
Yeah, well then, okay, so then he doesn't. So then he gets sits and he just sits there, and then what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
they'll make him play.
Yeah,
they'll say, sure, we'll let you play. Go, we'll trade you, but you need to go out there and show your stuff.
We better run our 9 tight end set then. I don't know what the hell we're gonna do. But even again, I mean, New York didn't look awful against Pittsburgh last night.
Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't look terrible. I mean, it wasn't a blowout.
They look bad. It should have been closer. I mean, it should have been not closer. It should have been a bigger win by Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was a little rusty at different times. It took Ben. You saw him get going there, and then he had a couple bad throws. That was bad. Daniel Jones. If you want to put who's hot garbage, Daniel Jones is hot garbage.
I'll take Daniel Jones.
Joshua Stevie lifts it up. Daniel Jones is hot garbage. He absolutely freaks out, gets happy feet, isn't sure what to do, and then he just kind of flings it to Saquon off to the side, and doesn't even put it anywhere where Saquon can catch it on his back, on the back of his shoulder pads, down by his feet. Like that's your franchise right there, and he's just asking for a linebacker to light the crap out of Saquon. Saquon had less rushing yards than Ben Roethlisberger, and that's not on his ability to run, but just how bad that team is. That's a garbage team, and Daniel Jones is garbage, and Saquon is going to be the next superstar begging to be traded if this continues. You are watching a dynamite player, and especially in the NFL, running backs, they know. That's why Zeke wanted his contract, everything like that. Their careers do not last as long as wide receivers or anything like that, unless your name's Frank friggin' Gore somehow. He's going to be gone if they don't do something quick. The defense is bad. The offensive line is bad. Daniel Jones is horrible. The only thing that keeps them in, Saquon Barkley had to do backflips over players just to be able to get first downs last night. It was bad.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. So that is enough for way or no way right now, and then we will be back here in about 30 seconds. Actually, give us about a minute, and then we will get into some more shop talk. We're going to talk basketball and hockey, and we'll let Supas here wallow in his game 1 loss. And
I
we'll be
predicted
back.
the Heat were going to win. It's okay. Mute your mic. I don't want to hear you going to the bathroom.
Need the hell out my way, got the devil in my ass, the devil's in my brain. Like, whoa, 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 no, 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 not gonna slow the. Some notes, tell them put their ass some notes. Hey, no, let them know. Go ahead, put their ass some notes. About to take over the globe, baby, no way they ain't gonna know that's not.
All right, guys. So we are back. Get those comments in for some more shop talk. What do you guys want to hear? What do you guys want to talk about? We'll kick it off here with some basketball talk. Now, look, the playoffs are continuing. You got Game 7 tonight between the Clippers and Nuggets.
17-16 right now, man.
Who takes this one?
Hey, I called it already. I called it before
Denver?
the series started. Denver in 7. And I need it to be because I predicted, for anyone remembering, man, I don't. Why I don't put money on my big predictions like the Padres win the West, or the fact that the Final Four would be Heat, Celtics, Lakers, Denver. I got laughed at by a ton of people that was going to be the Final Four, and we're a game away from that being the correct thing. And God knows how much money I would have won, but I think Denver gets it. Denver is showing why they are a team. The Clippers are showing why, like Toronto, they have to rely on Kawhi too much. But the problem is that Denver is a different type of defense that can hold on to them. Kawhi, for the first time in a while I've watched, he looks tired. He's doing everything because Paul George, just like we got to see in Oklahoma City, he just and I get that he came out and shared his heart and about going through pains and feeling like in a dark place. Good on him for being honest and open in that aspect. But then he went out and remember the next game was dominant. So I can't sit here and give him an excuse that's the reason why, because he's shown he can do it. But you should be looking at your teammate Kawhi and look at him and go, holy crap, I got to do more. And he doesn't. Yeah. You talk about Cam Newton looking depressed on the sidelines. The second Paul George starts not doing well, he just gets all mopey and depressed. Yeah. And Kawhi looks at him like, here we go. I got to do this again all by myself. Yeah. So the difference is the Nuggets have a full team effect. We'll see. They're up by 4 right now. So.
And then you got the Heat. The Heat and Celtics started Game 1 of the East Finals today. We've already talked about the Heat taking that one by 2 in overtime. That you called that 3. One. That was going to be a close, by 3. Sorry, that one's going to be a close series all the way through, probably 7 games.
Yep.
The Heat are way better than I thought that they were heading into this game. I didn't look, and I've said it a bunch. I don't watch a ton of basketball, but I do follow it. I still watch. I still know, who's who, and I still, obviously, other than your boy over there in Utah, I didn't really.
Donovan Mitchell. You still don't know his name.
I know the teams that are solid enough, and the Heat just weren't one of those teams. I didn't think that they were that good, especially in the East. The East is stacked. You got obviously Boston and Toronto ran into one another, but I just thought that I didn't think that the Heat were one of the 2 best teams in the East heading into this thing.
You had Giannis, who's your MVP. So, of course, he's going to get a ton of attention because is it him or LeBron for the MVP? And then they get the number 1 seed. Toronto shocked everyone, including me, because I expected them to still get to the playoffs without Kawhi. But I was thinking 6, 7 seed. And instead, they're going out there. There was a point where they were fighting for the number 1 seed before the COVID stuff started happening. They were starting to make a little bit of a run. The Celtics are the Celtics. I mean, it's Boston. Everyone knows who they are. And Brad Stevens, what they do. So what it was is when – everyone talks about 76ers, like, can they finally do it? Like, it's that story, it's that train wreck that everyone loves to watch with the 76ers. So the Heat just were quietly just there. You had those 4 big stories, and it's just like it was the Heat. And Jimmy Butler went there, and at first it took them a little bit to get going. Actually, they kind of came out a little bit hot to start the season. And they slowed, and they had a little lapse time, and then that team just bonded and got better. And I'm telling you, the last month and a half before the COVID thing, I was watching them, and that's why I said it. Like, Jimmy Butler is also a freak. There were tons of reports that when these players first got to the bubble, they're all out. You saw like Ben Simmons fishing and still couldn't throw a fish in the water, and the players were at arcades and playing games and complaining about food. You know what Jimmy Butler was doing? He was getting security called on him at 3 a.m. from the people below him because he was spending 4 straight hours from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. practicing his dribbling in his room. He was dribbling nonstop to be able to get his speed up, to know where he wants to handle, to practice his stepping, everything. He was doing basketball drills in the middle of the night. He's a beast. He's a freak. It's good to see him finally get. This is the first time he's been in this round. It's going to go 7. I'm sorry, Celtics, my fellow Celtics fans. I want to be wrong, but I predicted that it was going to be the Heat. I said they were going to be the team that shocks everyone and comes out of the East. I've been right about some other. I got to stick with it, but man, I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong.
Man, couldn't we get a guy like that in Chicago? I really wish we could get him in Chicago. Guys like that just don't want to come in. Oh, that's right.
It's kind of like those people in Houston that watch that Arizona game. Man, I wish we could get a wide receiver like that.
And we traded him for a bag of freaking peanut.
Same thing in Houston.
God, the Bulls are a mess. All right, so Brandon Combs Jr. chimes in. Ravens or Texans next week? This one's an easy one, buddy. It is Ravens all the way. Look, I think the Texans are going to be better than people think, but this is not a game I have them winning.
Ravens
at all.
Ravens are going 7-9, and they're going to start this year 0-2. It sucks that you're first. Those are your first. The Texans.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the Ravens are going to win. The Texans are going to go 7-9. Even if you traded Hopkins and you thought that you put together a better team formation, kind of like I've been talking about with Jacksonville. Let's say you fully believed it. To have to start your season with those two, like, that is horrible. I feel bad for any team that has to do that. That's part of my prediction with them is 7-9 is their schedule sucks.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Even though I didn't put DeAndre Hopkins in my top 10 in receivers, when I listened to Bill O'Brien say we're going to trade him because we're going to go with a more profound run game with David Johnson, it makes me laugh because what the hell are you thinking?
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Like, I just don't get it. As I just watched Bryant and Rizzo go back-to-back with doubles, and now the Indians are tied with the Cubs 3-3. Speaking of that AL Central chase.
Damn.
But yeah, no, look, you can't trade DeAndre Hopkins and say we're going with a solid run game and say David Johnson. You just can't. Look, David Johnson, if 4 or 5 years ago, sure. But it's not 4 or 5 years ago.
Have you seen that meme? Me drafting David Johnson once again in NFL football, and it's just a guy snorting a line of coke. Like, I mean, it's just that's why he stays alive, because fantasy sports are what make the world tick, and that's why I get on tangents about.
Bill O'Brien reminds me of like so we had a fantasy draft, a fantasy league a while back, and we always did live drafts, and in those live drafts we had a countdown. You had 3 minutes to make your pick, okay, and if you did not make your pick within the 3 minutes, you lost your pick. And so, you get some guys who get down to a minute, but we had this one guy who got down to it, and we just started counting, man. We're all like, we can't believe he has, and this is the 7th pick, the 7th overall pick of the draft. And we're like, 10, 9, and we're all going, he's like, Danny Woodhead.
Oh my God.
And we all just like died laughing as we put the pick up on the board. And that it reminds me of exactly what Bill O'Brien does as a coach.
Yep. That's it.
They're like, hey, who do you want us to trade so we can make room for David Johnson?
Yep.
DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins. I'm telling you, and I know Texas fans are going to say, listen, we couldn't afford him. If it is the best player, you will find a way. And I get that they're salary cap thing, but there were other players on that team you could have tried to do stuff around to keep him. Like, you really could. But here's the thing with my prediction. you want me to be right in Houston. You want me to be right. You need, after you paid Watson and you secured him, you need this team to go 7-9. So the ownership just goes, get the bleep out of here, O'Brien. Yeah. So they bring in a reputable coach and a GM. They don't need this coach GM bull crap down there. They need a coach. They need a GM. They need a 6-10, 7-9 season. So that happens. If this team finds a way to be better and goes 9-7 in that AFC South, guess what? Bill O'Brien's going to come back because there's no difference in year in and year out. It's going to be the same. And they've already stood behind him so far. What's going to change that? So,
yeah.
You know what the game of the week is going to be, by the way? Bengals Browns. Who do you got?
Oh my God. Bengals Browns.
Browns.
The Bengals don't play the Browns this week, do they? Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
So
Thursday night game, baby. Bengals Browns.
I'm going, since that game is the Thursday night game and we will be on, as the game's starting, we'll just go ahead and make that pick now, I guess. I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Yeah.
I think the Browns are still, they're the Browns. Like, they proved to me last week that they are still the Cleveland Browns. And I thought they were going to put up a better showing against Baltimore. They didn't. I think Cincinnati might be better than even I thought that they were going to be. They looked pretty good, even though they lost. They looked pretty good against the Chargers. But it's such a man, and it's a Thursday night game. I could totally see Cincinnati winning this 6-3.
I'm gonna go with the Browns just to be different than you. I think the Browns are. I think the Bengals still have something. I love the excitement that a lot of the his teammates had in Burrows and AJ Green coming out and talking about it. But just as much as it's the Browns, it's still the Bengals. I mean, I know you think that they're better, but the Chargers are god awful.
I just like Joe Burrow more than I like Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
I do.
The Bengals are god awful, and they still got beat by the Chargers there too. So that'll be a big one. So I'm gonna jokingly get outside. But by the way, speaking of NFL picks, we both picked the Cowboys, didn't work. We both picked the Steelers, they covered. But I ended up going out on a limb here and picking the Broncos, covering with the 3, and wouldn't you know it happened. So, man,
yeah. Because you're a boy Gostkowski.
That was bad, man.
4 kicks. How do you miss 4
bad.
kicks in the same? Even the Bears were laughing at you, and we can never find a kicker.
They were like, "Oh, look at that! That must suck to have a kicker that bad."
At least our guy can hit the uprights. Jeez, and crow. All right, so we are going to go with 3 games we say every week. And this week we have a guest that is coming on who feels like he can beat me in the picks this week. And so what 3 games are we going with, Soup Boss? You said you were going to pick the games. What 3 games are we going with? And what's the spread currently?
Yeah. I got to get the current spread. I figured we were going to come on. I was going to give them right before the Thursday.
All right, that's fine. We can do that. What's the games?
Okay, so we'll go with the games. So the games that I'm picking, based on conversation, based on everything like that, and what we saw out of week 1 and blah blah blah. I think we're going to see a lot of conversation between the Broncos and the Steelers game. Because even though the Broncos lost, a lot of people thought that they should have won, especially if they took that field goal. And then the fact that the Steelers are back, but there are some people that still, including you, that said, hey, the Giants weren't as bad. Maybe it's not as good. So I think that's a pretty reputable contest. The second one I'm going to give you is going to be the Falcons at the Cowboys. The Cowboys coming off the loss. And look, I know that the Falcons lost too. But the Falcons, to Reeves' point, they still found a way to just put up tons of stats. And usually that's junk time. But what happens if they're playing a game and they're actually close?
That's a tough one. And the Cowboys are definitely going to be favored.
So yeah, exactly.
That's a tough one.
Exactly. And I have to do this one. As crazy as this sounds, the fact that this is even a game that would ever be put to be predicted on, the Arizona Cardinals playing the Washington not Redskins, who embarrassed the Eagles, sacked Carson Wentz 8.5 times, had a stellar defense. Does that defense do to Kyler Murray what they could do to Carson Wentz? And do the Arizona Cardinals show their ability to go up 2-0 in that division and try to keep pace with the Seahawks?
You know what? You know what's funny? I looked at the schedule ahead of the show, and I said, man, I hope he does not pick the Cardinals in the Redskins game, because I don't know which way to go there.
Exactly. That's
a
what,
tough one, man.
Everyone's like, oh, Patriots, Seahawks. You and I both agree. That's going to be a blowout. Why am I going to do that aspect? The Ravens and Texans. That's going to be a blowout. Like, people want the big names, but I'm looking for the more challenging matchups. I'm looking for the ones that are going to be really tough. Because that's the whole point of this. Instead of just picking the easy blowouts,
Eight sacks against the Eagles.
And it was
a very mobile Carson Wentz too, man.
Yeah. And people forget down 17. The old Washington, the Washington team before would have been down 17 and mailed that crap in. And Chase Young is a beast.
It pisses me off too, because I don't want to pick the Redskins, because it's not that I don't want the Redskins to do well, because I love the
not
underdog.
Redskins. The Bobs.
Yeah.
They're the not Redskins.
I don't want the not Redskins. It's not that I don't want them to not do well, because I love underdogs. I love those stories of teams that you don't see coming. But I don't want Daniel Snyder to be an owner that is winning. Like, I just don't. So, that's a tough pick.
Yep, I knew when I looked at it, I was like, that's going to be one he's not going to like.
We'll do all of our picks on Thursday as well. All of our other week 2 picks. And then I'll do those 3 against the spread with Professor Leonard. And we're today to ask what games we were doing, so I'll let him know after the show if he's not watching right now.
And we remember week one was just a fun thing for you and I, and everyone knows. And starting with week 2, you fans will be as one team going against Mr. Combs and myself, and we'll have a 3-way battle. But you guys get to work together to try to see if you can make both of us look like idiots. So,
yeah. And hey, I mean, if you guys want to keep doing this every week, you guys can pick who you want to take on, whether it's me or Soup Boss, and maybe there'll be some prizes in it. Who knows? Some prizes that we can't give away for YouTube subscribers, because we are still only at 55.
You know what's terrible is we were at 1.57, which means 2 people hit unsubscribe.
Oh, why would you say that out loud?
Really? Because I want people to actually be embarrassed or feel bad for us. Like, really? Like, this could be the biggest pile of dog crap on OBJ's chest. And at the same time, you're looking at free stuff.
Like, you can see who subscribed. Can you see who unsubscribed?
I can't see. Now, if I had memorized the list and then noticed 2 people gone, I could have, but unfortunately.
And we could have called them out, Soup.
Yeah, I know. I just remember getting to that number. I was getting pumped. I was like, we're getting close to 60. And then today I looked and I was like, 55.
Was it me and you? Did our names not count because we're the hosts?
I did not unsubscribe. You you piece of hot mess on OBJ's chest.
I thought maybe they took off our subscriptions since we're the hosts. I don't know. No, YouTube does some funny things, like flags our account for playing songs that were approved for.
They still have not responded to me about, by the way.
Yeah, I don't understand. They're so quick. It's like the bank. The bank is so quick to let people take funds from you, but when they're trying to put funds back in, it takes 5 to 7 days. We
have to verify that this money that someone wants to give you is accurate and that you are who you are, even though you're one of our own customers.
I tell my bank all the time, look, if somebody's trying to put money in my account, you don't have to verify nothing. Yeah. Just do it.
Just do it.
Hey, what do I care who the hell it is or why they're doing it? If they want to put money in my account, add zeros to it if you want to. just put it in there.
Zeros are technically nothing, so it's just roll them on at the end. That's fine with me.
All right, Soup Boss, tell these guys where they can find us, where to subscribe, what to do, and how to do it.
Yep. So, guys, we're just going to stick with this. We need it. We're down to 8 prizes. Don't let it get to 7. We're down to 8. Triple Shot Sports on YouTube. Triple Shot Sports Podcast. You just go to YouTube, you search us, you hit subscribe, and then tell your friends, hey, there's some really cool signed memorabilia. Do you want a chance to win it for free? This isn't even like a thing that you go to a friggin' flea market and throw money in a ticket thing and hope you get. I'm going to throw in $10 and hope I get that friggin' Rachel Ray cookware set. We're talking real, authentic, signed memorabilia for free for clicking a button. That's it. Triple Shot Sports Podcast.
That beast right fielder in Washington.
Yeah,
this is an autographed baseball bat, full size.
The future leader in this league.
Future MVP, future All-Star. This guy is a stud, and his bat is in here. So look, guys, I can't. 45 more.
Did you see that game week 1, by the way, because he's on most of my fantasy teams? That guy right behind you, Calvin Ridley, had absolute beast, top to bottom. I bet you that Alabama signed jersey would look really nice in someone's home. Not only there was a way for them to get it for you.
But maybe there's a Cardinals fan in our group. If they are, I don't like you. But I do have a Luke Brock jersey here. Luke Brock, who just recently passed away, that's in there as well. We still got some good prizes left, guys, but don't make me take any more away. Let's go. Just subscribe. All right, guys, that's all the time we have for now. Have a good night. Later.